Okay, kindergarten, we are going to be painting this sheet of paper. On the back, you're going to have to write your name. And I want you to write the letter of your art day, A, B, or C. Flip it over. And we are going to use watercolor paints to paint this paper. If you've used watercolor paints before, you understand you have to have water in order for them to work. So we're all going to use the same color. It's going to be a blue-violet kind of color. And I'm taking it straight from the book, Tuesday. This kind of color. Because I like this color, and this color we see a lot in this story. So we're creating art from the story. So this is the color I chose. And this is a little watercolor tray. Normally they come in a box. I just took them out because I just wanted one color. We didn't need all the other colors. Okay, so if you take a dry paintbrush and put it into this paint, it's not going to work. See, I'm putting my finger right in it. It's because it's not wet. You have to put water with it. That's why it's called watercolors. So I have a paintbrush. I dipped it in water. It's not dripping wet. And I'm going to scoop up some paint. And you're going to see it all get liquidy. And I want you to paint your whole paper this color. So you can work going straight across. You could work in like wavy lines, scooped lines. And when you notice your paintbrush is getting dry, that means you have to get it wet again. And I'm going to be coming around while your paint is wet. I'm going to sprinkle salt on it. And what salt does, it's going to leave a really cool effect. You're not going to see it right away. But the next time you come to art class, I'm going to scrape all that salt off, and it leaves a cool texture on your paper. It kind of looks like bubbles. It absorbs all the water from your paper and leaves a neat mark. Before you finish though, I want you to double check and make sure. Did you fill the whole paper with paint? Are some of the edges still white? Fill in those edges if they're still white. Make it as beautiful as you can make it. Okay, so I've painted my background with the watercolor paint and the salt, and now we want to create the ground portion to our picture. So I have cut up some strips of paper, and you can choose whatever color you want. If you want your ground to look more green as for grass, or if you want it to kind of stay with the purple because it's like nighttime, you can do that. I'm just going to show you some options of how you can create grass. And what's going to happen is this ground is going to sit at the bottom of our image. So what you could do is you could just draw a wavy line at the top of this. You know, it's a little hard to see. And you can just cut out this little top part. Do a zigzag line. And cut it out. Or you could do blades of grass, and I call this fringe when we do this. So you take one side of your paper and you're just going to cut into one side, but you're not going to cut all the way through. So you'll just cut to about halfway. And you don't want to make them real big like that. You want to keep them kind of close together. So you want to be in control of your scissors. Alright, and once you have the fringe, then you can bend some of them so it looks more like grass. And then you want to get your paper back in front of you, and you want to pick. Well, I'm going to pick since I made 3 different ones, but you guys are just going to pick your one to create. So this is what it'll look like if you do zigzag, so it kind of looks like grass. This is the wavy line. And this is the fringe. Okay, so you want to choose how you want to design your ground, and then from there we will draw right onto the painting. Alright, so I picked the fringe to be my ground, and you can see I just put a wavy line of glue at the bottom. I didn't put any glue on the fringe because I want the fringe to be able to pop up off of the paper. So I just put it on that bottom part, and I'm going to flip it over, and you want to try to line it up with the sides of your paper and the bottom of your paper so they line up evenly. You don't want to see any of your purple underneath. Okay, and you would do the same thing if you were doing another one. Just for this one, you put glue all over it because the fringe doesn't need to pop up. And this one, you would put glue all over it because there's no fringe. But if you're doing fringe, just glue the part that is not cut. Okay, so what I've done is I have drawn my image of how the story will end with a pencil first. I did it very lightly with a pencil. And now I'm taking black marker and I'm going over my pencil marks because it is kind of hard to see on that purple paint. So we want those lines to come back to life by using the black marker. So you want to outline your drawing after you're done drawing with the pencil, and then after you outline, you're going to take construction paper crayons and you are going to color your image in. Okay, so my image of how the story will end is some of the frogs are going to get in a hot air balloon and go off to a different land. So they're going to go on an adventure. Okay, so now I'm just erasing all my pencil marks that I can still see because I don't want it to look sloppy. And then from here I can just use my crayons and I can color right on top, and everything should be able to appear nice and neat since the paint is dry and we outlined with the black marker. So you're just going to take crayons and you are going to start coloring in your image. Have nice control of your crayons and change color. So like this frog is green, but his eyes won't be green. Inside the eyes, I'm going to use white. So really think about what you're doing here. Color everything that you have outlined. Okay, now my image is complete. I have created an artwork that tells a story by using cut paper, marker, and crayon.